family for that inevitable collapse.
Now, it looks pretty peaceful right now.
It is. Well, we're in Falls End, which is one of the communities, one of the towns in the game. It's just been liberated by Alex, who's playing the game.
Shout out to Alex, everybody.
Yeah.
In the Twitch chat, I want to see you throwing up the claps. Alex is over there. If he dies, give him the thumbs down.
Yeah, when we decided, we want to bring Far Cry to America, it's, there needs to be some level of believability. It needs to feel like the world is lived in. We're walking around the house here sort of showing a typical Americana. There's not a lot of people in the town right now because, like I said, they're all been kidnapped, and so it's up to the player.
That will bring down population.
Yeah, it's up to the player to sort of bring the communities back, build a resistance, build an army to fight against the cult.
Was it a tough decision for you guys to come to America?
I don't think so. It's something that the team has really been wanting to do for a while. The question really was, what's a space that feels Far Cry-ish?
Right.
We've been to CHAIRTY, we've been to the islands in Far Cry 3.
We've gone back in time.
Yes, we have gone back in time to Primal. But I think trying to find a space that felt dangerous, a little bit unexplored.
Sure.
A place that just feels like a wilderness, like a frontier. That really is Montana. We sent a team up there to sort of do a little investigation, do some recon, and immediately they fell in love with it. They said, the people, the landscape, everything sort of feels very remote and Far Cry-ish. And then it became, okay, well, what's a cool villain that could sort of...
Well, that's what's fascinating for me, being a Far Cry fan, right, is the fact that I'm a fan of America as well. And I wanted you guys to do something here, but Far Cry doesn't work in Chicago.
Yeah.
What are you going to skin in Chicago to make a wall in? It doesn't, rats? That's not all we got.
Not a lot of bears, not a lot of wolves around Chicago.
But the rats are pretty big in Chicago.
Exactly, I know. Shout out to Boomer, there he is.
There he is, good boy.
I have a little plush of him right here. You don't see it yet, but I'm petting it. There it is, Pre-release run-up like this that's had so many characters already identifiable, right?
Yeah. I think Far Cry in the past obviously has been it's been known for its villains, right? Frost, Big and Min. Like it's very much been about you versus the villain. This time around, we wanted to bring the community into the fold, bring your friends, your allies, the people who are going to fight with you against this cult. How can we showcase them? Building people like Mary May, who owns the Spread Eagle, that will walk.
Has she thought about changing the name?
Well,
because it's a great name, but it does. There's a connotation to it that I don't.
But the thing is, it's that sort of, the bar was named by her father, who wasn't maybe the most PC guy, maybe a bit of a misogynist, a bit of an asshole. But the thing is, you talk to Mary in the game, you get a bit more of her backstory, and I think for her, she's like, yeah, I hate the name of this bar, I think it's stupid.
Nice.
But at the same time, it's part of my dad, so that conflict of like, if I change the name, am I sort of getting rid of something?
Yeah, exactly.
People are complicated, people are complex.
And so that's her. Wait, who's Casey Segal?
Casey Segal is the cook of the Spread Eagle.
You guys are the worst. So if Nick Scarpino was watching this, he'd be, I'm just the cook.
Casey,
lowly cook.
Casey will give you some recipes. He'll send you on some hunting missions. And he'll also drop some wisdom bombs.
Does he talk? Does he do the I'm just the cook? The lowly cook line?
He's just a cook.
All right, okay. But does he say it? I want him to say it at some point in this video. Don't ruin the whole thing. I got to buy it when it comes out.
Doesn't matter if he says it, he's got the hair.
So, Mary's role is giving out quests, keeping you ingrained. But she's one of your partners too, yes?
She's one of the members of the community. She's one of the community leaders. So, the people that you meet in the game, they're all a member of the Resistance, right? They're all sort of trying to fight back against the cult. Mary, Pastor Jerome, they're sort of sending you out on quests to say, hey, people have been kidnapped, or we need these convoys taken down, or I need a truck, my dad's truck taken back. Then there's guns for hire that you'll meet as you explore the world. People like Grace Armstrong, or Nick Rye, who showed off in
So what's the difference between Resistance and Guns for Hire?
The Guns for Hire are part of the Resistance, but the thing is, the Guns for Hire, they're going to be your persistent buddies throughout the world. Okay. So Mary and Jerome are always going to stick around Falls End.
Drew, you shut up now. Look who it is. It's Jerome Jeffries, everybody.
Yeah,
round of applause.
baby.
Martin Roach making his debut here.
Yeah, baby.
Wrath, fury, vengeance, we saw it all.
That's you.
But
You did that.
There's compassion in you, too.
That's a beautiful voice.
I can't tell if Pastor Jerome would have made me go to church more or made me go to church less. If he greeted me with the shotgun at the door.
Well, see, he's not about making you go to church. He's just making you think about it.
Okay, that's all he wants to do.
Spiritual thing, shall we say.
Where do we find Pastor right now?
Where do you find right now? This is his church.
Yeah.
This is his place. But unfortunately, as you can see, it's been devastated.
Yeah.
This place has been looted, desecrated. Everybody's been kidnapped. So now he's at the place where he's fighting back.
Okay.
He didn't want to be here. This was the fight that was brought to him.
How far do you go to get into that headspace, Martin? I mean, like, is the backstory? What is the backstory for the pastor?
I fight that every day.
Oh God.
No. To get the backs for him, we go back 20 years, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Back to the first Gulf War. What he is, he's a vet. Comes home, he wants to find some peace, find a place. A lot of vets don't find that, so he goes to a place where he can find it, the wide opens of Montana. And then here comes this cult, and they're slowly ripping it away. They're ripping away his community. He's helped build his community. He's one of the leaders. He's not going to let it slip.
Sure.
He's going to be the guy that says, all right, I don't want to have to do this, but I will take up a gun again. I know how to do this. I don't want to, but I know how to, and I can help lead these people back to the real world.
When we met Pastor Jerome in the trailer, right? That was one of the most powerful things of him reading the Bible, pulling out the gun, and like he had to go protect his flock. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was
protecting
sort of
his flock.
The inspiration for the character, right? Where we have Joseph Seed, we have a guy who's sort of taking religion, taking scripture, twisting it for his own, and sort of warping the message.
Sure.
So we wanted to say, okay, well, we need the opposite of that, and we need someone that's sort of a positive force of good.
Here's the other side.
Yeah. And I think, when you look at a character and you say, okay, well, what are the complexities we can give to him? Having a man of God who, because of how far he's been pushed, says, you know what, I'm willing to sacrifice my own soul to save the people that I've been trying to look out for.
Absolutely.
To run back to the demons you ran away from is pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. Is that fun to play?
It's incredibly fun to play.
Yeah.
Because you got to dig. You got to dig sometimes. Sometimes I say something, and I just hear Drew on the line go, okay, that's good, but I need to believe it more. I need a little more. So dig a little deeper.
Alex is fixated on this truck, and I have to say my eyes are drawn to it as well.
The Widowmaker.
The Widowmaker. Oh, now, I like the bobblehead.
A little
bobblehead. Nice.
I like the skirt that he's wearing.
Of course,
Bringing new vehicles into Far Cry 5, big part of it. It's America, right? We want big monster trucks.
It's Far Cry, all right. It's still Far Cry. We talk about the pastor and his demons, and then the big rig does a 360 after running over a barricade. All right.
That's the anecdote factory at work. So we see a bit of the cult up here. They're roaming the countryside. They're going into towns. They're taking people hostage and executing them.
And Alex is going to take them out.
Oh, he's going to throw some bait. So, I mean, this is just the kind of stuff as you're exploring the world, you're meeting people. There's a bear that's now showing up.
Is that a bear?
Yeah, that's a bear. It's a bear.
It's Far Cry. It's still very much Far Cry.
Anything can happen.
That would just be a rat in Chicago, so it makes sense. Yeah, why you're running over here doing this.
No, but as you explore the world, these are the sort of encounters that you're going to find. Nothing's sort of scripted. Everything's systemic.
Well, that's always been the power of Far Cry, right?
Exactly.
Where it is the fact that you guys, I think, are make what a sandbox game. What you make sandbox games that are fun to play because that is the story.
Yeah,
we can all go off and do the same mission, the same objective, but we're all going to do it different ways and have different things along the way.
It's about giving the players all the tools to sort of really just go off and cause as much mayhem and havoc as they want.
Right.
Boomer just steal a gun for you? Nice.
Dang right he did. That's what Boomer's all about.
Gives everybody the freedom.
But yeah, so the world, we wanted to focus on a more non-linear approach with the story this time. So we had talked to Mary May earlier, who had mentioned that Nick Rye, who lives down the road, was having some trouble with the cult. Maybe you want to go check on him. We're not guiding the player this time around in terms of you've got to do this mission, then this mission.
So the objectives are just like in any order you want.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with Fall's End, this could be one of the first places that you go to in the game. It could be one of the very last.
Gotcha.
After the opening of the game, you're sort of dropped in the middle of the map, and you're just okay, just go.
Go where you
people,
want.
Go explore. Yeah, go figure out, build your resistance the way that you want to take down Joseph Seed in the cult.
Interesting. So that if there's no real way to be like how far into the game are you right now?
Yeah,
you can tackle this in any order. Interesting.
So yeah, Nick's having a bit of a trouble at his airfield. The cult has come in here. Nick's wife is pregnant with child.
Okay.
She's
Nick was the guy with the crop duster from the trailers, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he's got a plane. He's trying to figure out a way to get his family to safety, right? And the cult, like I said, Joseph Seed believes that every single soul in Hope County has to be to be a part of the cult, to be put into their bunkers to save themselves from this coming collapse.
The power of
and
Boomer.
A lot of people don't like being in a cult.
Yeah.
So they're going to fight back.
There we go.
We took care of that problem.
I love what Boomer just did there. goes up and takes the badass gun and brings it to you. That's just,
what he's all about.
That's perfect.
And there's Nick.
So then Nick is part of the resistance.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Just like Pastor, just like
Yes.
Mary. Okay.
And the thing, you know, you do a couple quests for Nick. Yeah, you prove that, you know, you're willing to fight for him, and he says, okay, you know what, I'm going to be on your side. I've got a plane. I'll be able to sort of take this guys and watch your back.
Nice.
Yeah.
But for right now, Nick has his plan that he's going to fight back at the cult, you know, blow up some silos where they're sort of storing some explosives. But again, his wife is like, you're not going to stick your neck out there. That's too stupid. So he talks to you and says, you know what, maybe you want to take care of that problem for me? Go
Alex,
fly
be
my
careful.
plane.
Hold on. We got wolves. We got wolves. Wolves. Good job, Alex.
There we go. Yep. So
There it
there's
is.
Nick's plane. But I think for that, we might go do a little fishing. That's
See, and this
okay.
is one of the things you got when I was talking before. You have such diverse landscapes, and now you have to come up with what kind of animals would be out here.
Yeah, yeah.
Fishing's brand new.
Yep.
What else do you have in terms of everything else that's happening?
I mean, it's, you know, fishing, hunting, giving the player sort of. Far Cry is all about big action all the time, like there's insanity happening every minute. But at the same time, when you talk about Montana, the wildlife, you know, we wanted to give the player the ability to sort of hang out in nature, have a good time, something a little bit more relaxing than just murdering everything.
Always killing everything, worrying about what's going to get you from behind.
So we decided, you know, we're going to throw fishing in. It's a big part of sort of the culture in Montana and culture, you know, just sort of that frontier lifestyle.
It's a way to just come here and decompress, relax,
yeah,
talk
and
it out with your friends.
The minute the fishing went in, everyone became obsessed about it.
Oh,
like,
really?
There's fishing tournaments back at the office. We've got a fishing tournament here at PAX. You know, people are trying to catch the biggest fish to win some of the flag pins, and people are going nuts.
Well, it's just,
like,
who doesn't love to fish?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, every now and then you want to put down the stick of dynamite and pick up a fishing rod.
Yeah, or throw the stick of dynamite in there to make it easier to get the fish.
Dynamite in the net will travel.
While we chill out here on the riverbank, I've been passed audience questions. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, sure, man.
Drew, the first one's for you.
Uh-oh.
Bobby writes in and says, what inspired the team to do this one in the USA?
You know, I think bringing Far Cry to the U.S. was something the team's been wanting to do for quite some time.
Yeah.
It just never, it always, the question came back to believability, right?
Sure.
Like, does it make sense? How could you set up Far Cry in the U.S.? So I think it was probably around 3 or 4 years ago that it started in earnest. Okay, we're going to set a Far Cry in the United States. And it just built from there, right? And I think that the sort of the current times that we live in, and the current state of things, all of a sudden Far Cry in the U.S. is way more believable than
Yeah, of course, right. There's definitely two sides of it everywhere now, you know what I mean? Was Montana the first and only choice, or what? Did you guys toy around with the idea of a city?
There were a couple different ideas on where to take it, but like I said, the minute the team went to Montana, it was like, oh no, this is it. So, you know, there's some other ideas in the back pocket, but you know, we'll save those for later.
Those went away real quick.
Yeah, it really did.
All right, Martin. VIRAGOXV535 writes in and says, is that your natural vocalization, or did you rehearse to master a priest tone? You understand?
I just do it.
Yeah. And then for everybody, Lorem Gillespie III writes in and says, do you prep for voice recording, do you prep for voice recording with other actors? So is it an ensemble thing, or is it mainly you guys alone?
Doing a play.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the studios. It's actually a
Drew,
really cool process.
How do you guys capture and record everything? Are you doing it in booth, but when you go somewhere and they're together, are they doing the mocap
so
stuff?
it's split between sort of like in gameplay stuff. So when we saw Jerome earlier, that's all VO booth. That's Martin in the booth, sort of just reading a list of lines. The cinematics then are all mocap, right? And we have our big mocap studio in Toronto. Where, you know, we suit everyone up in the mocap suits with the little balls and put a giant Vice headset on them and shine
really easy to act in, isn't it?
And then say act natural.
Yeah,
very natural. You don't notice it.
Hey, in your leotard right now, act like a big bad pastor. Here's this.
And the leotard that tells no tales. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Here's this broom handle. It's a shotgun, and go axe.
Exactly. And go. Really? Really? in that studio. What did we use for the Bible? It was
like
a block of wood and
block
plastic.
of wood.
And they're like, no, this is it. This
with
opens
a
up.
fake gun on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, everything. We spent a lot of time, props or sort of set pieces in the game, making sure that there's stuff that the actors can interact with because they've got all this equipment on.
Yeah.
The more things you can give to them that sort of use their imagination to pretend, the better the performance is.
That kind of brings us down.
But it's got
It
because of all the cameras that you're in the space, everything sort of has to be like a wire version of it because the camera's got to sort of pick up all the data on where the body is at any time.
Final question before I let you guys stop fishing.
Yeah.
Do you do the voice recording separate?
Challenge that I've had.
Okay. Well, here we go.
It's tough to wrap that around your head and move too. You're like, okay, what am I trying to do? Because usually when you're talking with somebody,
back and
you
forth.
get it. But you're just like, what am I?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm motivated. I'm telling him to do this. I'm asking him to do this. I'm begging.
Do you like that challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like any challenge. Anytime I'm uncomfortable, I'm pretty happy. You don't know what's. No, well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
If I'm comfortable all the time, I'm kind of bored.
You're doing something. Yeah.
That's
true.
That's smart.
Then anybody could be doing it.
Right.
I want to be the only guy that should be doing it.
How uncomfortable can I make you?
All
right, what's going on here, Drew? What's going on here?
We're in a plane.
This is
we finally
new.
took Nick's plane. Yes. First time in Far Cry 5, or first time for Far
Cry. The series, right?
The series, yes, exactly. We're bringing sky combat, big planes, jets. We've got this sort of seaplane here that Nick has given to us. It's got machine guns on it. It's got rockets. You can drop bombs on these little silos. So earlier on, we met Nick, and he was like, "Hey, go blow up these silos."
My wife won't let me go fight the resistance, or fight for the resistance.
And so, again, it's sort of the structure of the game, right? Like Nick told us he had this quest for us, and we could have gone, off exploring. The quest is sort of waiting for us,
of course,
to pick it up and go do it.
It's also a great view of like how different what you guys have going in Montana right now.
In this region, it's a lot of farmland. It's a lot of typical stuff that you might see in sort of the countryside. But the topography is way different. Like if you go to the north, it's much more mountainous, much more forest. It feels more, gameplay-wise, feels maybe kind of more along the lines of like Primal, which it's a lot of hunting, it's a lot of stealth. There's the other regions that,
I'm sorry, what is this on the left? What is the level 2?
That is the resistance meter. So, again, because it's a non-linear game, we were trying to come up with a way with how do I feel like I'm giving progression to the game.
Okay.
Right? So we said, okay, from the outset, you're trying to build up your resistance in each region that you find. So as you're meeting people like Mary and Pastor Jerome, you're doing quests for them, or you're taking out outposts, what you're doing is you're building your resistance.
Gotcha.
So more people are going to show up to fight on your side.
Okay.
You're going to have more access to new guns for hire to fight alongside you. And at the same time, the cult's going to start to react to like that's how we're sort of inserting our bad guys this time around. Rather than saying, go play this story mission, I'm going out, I'm clearing an outpost. And if that raises my resistance meter to a point where the cult notices me, now all of a sudden the bad guy's going, no, we're not having this.
Interesting. Okay.
They're going to show up and insert themselves into your story.
Now, when I get the plane here, do I have access to it the rest of the game? Can I just run around and use it whenever I want to?
Yeah. You could take this plane, fly all the way up to the north, hang out with.
So does this completely change taking down outposts? Because I feel like now I can just come. If I want to stealth, if I want to do whatever.
Exactly. So you can take a plane around, you can bomb some guys. But the thing is, because there's a lot more interior space.
This song, you feel it too, Pax. But I have the gameplay change of being able to shoot everything and blow it up, which seems awesome. But does the fact that water is a bigger part of it, that trees are a bigger part of it, is there more to it in that respect in terms of how to use the topography?
Yeah, when you get up to the north, where it's much more mountainous, much more forest, you're going to have a bit more harder time navigating with the plane, right? And trying to, all those guys are sort of, hiding out on the bottom of the ground. You're going to have to get on the ground, go a little more hand-to-hand, on-foot combat. But here, we wanted to showcase the plane combat. We've got AI that are also flying around. This guy's one of the chosen.
Okay, he's got
the elite soldiers of the cult. They've been trained to defend the cult.
These are the
so there's levels to the cult.
Yeah,
the people I meet on the street aren't the chosen. This guy's super soldier.
So there's cult followers that you'll find.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, there's chosen. There's special elite guys. As you progress through the game, as you build your resistance, the chosen are going to start showing up more and more, and they're much tougher, much more accurate. They've got a lot more tools at their disposal to take you down.
And now you put them down on the baseball field. Gamescom demo. This
Damn.
is PAX. This game sucks. That's it. It doesn't even respect.
Hello everyone, my name is Philippe Fournier, associate producer on Far Cry 5.
And I'm Mari Knadel, a scriptwriter on Far Cry 5. Today we're going to take you through our extended E3 demo and highlight some of the features that we're really excited about. Welcome to Hope County, Montana. This is the Holland Valley, a section of farmland that the project at Eden's Gate is using as their breadbasket.
With us in this demo, we have our loyal dog Boomer as your fang for hire. For now, I just can't resist. The setup is too perfect. I'm going to use this tractor against the cult.
The cult is stealing supplies and kidnapping people, using them to prepare for a doomsday that's really just around the corner. We're going to put you in the shoes of a rookie deputy and drop you into the heat of the conflict.
In Far Cry 5, we want to give you tools that feel like they belong in Montana in your fight against the doomsday cult. And now we're going to make a quick getaway in case reinforcements arrive.
Christ, help me.
Boomer is just one of the many allies you can recruit using our for-hire system. Each of them has special abilities, and it's up to you to select which companion to bring along for the ride, whether you're just exploring the open world or fighting cultists head-on in a specific location. Cute dog. My dad would love to know, what type of breed is Boomer? No, seriously.
His breed is mutt, but he is mostly blue heeler by the looks of him.
Montana is a great place to fish, and it was important for us to create a system where we allowed players to live that experience. In the rivers and lakes of Hope County, you will find many different types of fish. It's a really good way for players to gain experience and also just get away from the conflict. And here we see the player needs to fight a little bit to get the fish. Nice, catch of the day on the menu.
So it's nice to unwind with some fishing every now and then, but we know the cult isn't taking any breaks because they have an apocalypse to prepare for. As you explore the county, you'll come across cultists working hard to serve Joseph, the father of their cult. They're taking food and supplies for their bunkers, they're blocking the roads so no one can escape, and they're destroying resources so the resistance can't use them. And it looks like we spotted something up ahead. Yeah, let's take out our binoculars.
All right, it seems like there's a small group of cultists there, Mari.
All right, so this looks like a forced baptism. What do you say we get in there, Phil?
Yeah, let's do it. I think the best approach would be to go in stealthily through the river with Boomer by our side. I think we're well equipped to get rid of those two guys. Here we're using one of the iconic weapons featured in Far Cry 5, the revolver. And you'll be able to customize those weapons by adding attachments or changing the color scheme and hunt the cult in style.
Go, Boomer!
Alright, Boomer showing off one of his skills. This can really be a game changer in a fight where you're a bit low of ammo or you don't have the right weapon for the situation.
He's a good dog. You know, Boomer's a great all-rounder who can support any playstyle. Even without your commands, he'll fetch guns for you, take down cultists in a fight, and he'll tag enemies and animals from far away with his keen sense of smell.
The game being set in America, it was important for us to bring a wide variety of vehicles from pickups to tractors to big rigs like this one. This one is specifically called the Widowmaker. It's like a battering ram on wheels, and is a great tool to create chaos and take down enemy vehicles or roadblocks.
And it looks like we got one here.
Let's do it.
Pedal to the metal.
That Voss bobblehead didn't even move. We're so good.
We got him glued onto the dash.
That's it. Boom.
So it sounds like we're listening to the cult radio station. I gotta say, some of their hymns are pretty catchy, Phil. Now we're pulling up to Ryan Sons Aviation. This is the home of Nick Rye. He's a crop duster and a family man. He's doing what he can to keep his family safe and keep the cult from getting his plane, but it looks like they've beaten us here, so let's jump right in. There's no time to waste.
and let Boomer like kind of create distractions for us to get behind cover and help Nick fight the cultists. In Far Cry 5, you'll need to improvise and choose from a vast arsenal of weapons and find elements in the environment to take down the enemy. There you go. So we just took down the last cultist at Nick Rise using my favorite stealth weapon, a baseball bat. Sometimes you can hear Boomer growling when he feels a threat nearby. And Boomer is just part of Far Cry 5's living world we've built, where there's always something or someone around you whether you notice it or not. This means you'll always need to be prepared. Boomer will stand his ground and defend you from predators, as there are a lot of moments for the player to hunt or be hunted. And we've built a deep ecosystem that represents Montana's wilderness.
So, you know, we've seen ducks, a sturgeon, deer, and this is just a small sample of all of the wild animals that you'll encounter in Hope County. So now we've jumped into Nick Rye's plane. It's been in his family for generations, and with it we'll take to the sky to destroy some cult silos that are hoarding explosives.
The world that we've built is larger than any Far Cry before, and for the first time you can explore the world in any direction that you choose right from the start. In this demo, we're in Holland Valley, and this is just one small part of Hope County.
Montana is called Big Sky Country after all. Flying is a great way to travel, explore the county, and scout out new opportunities. And also blow things up.
Woo-wee! Look at that go! Nice work, partner. Go get the other one.
Oh, looks like the cult has decided to intervene. That plane belongs to a Chosen. Now, the Chosen are elite soldiers, and it's their job to basically crush any threat to the project at Eden's Gate. So we've done enough to anger the cult. We're going to engage in a little dogfight with them and show them what we think of them.
That's right. Even in the air, there's a lot of opportunities for the player to, find or discover or get chased by or get discovered. Yeah, totally. Hunt or be hunted, as we call it. I think right now we are the predator.
Yep, we got them on the run. They're smoking. And we did it.
Well done. So thanks for watching, and we're really looking...
If you had pulled your parachute in that very short jump, would anything bad happen? Okay, maybe we'll try it next time. Oh, jeez. This fanatical cult, and you as the hero are, joining the resistance to try and push back and liberate these people.
Exactly. Yep, that's what we built. So as you kind of see this, you're going to see Boomer for the first time. You find yourself in the world. You know that this cult has taken over the space. You're kind of trapped behind cult lines. And what you have to do is basically find people out in the world and build this resistance. And it can start with Boomer the dog or any other person that you meet.
I mean, you have to start with the dog.
Of course.
Is there any other option?
Right.
Man's best friend.
Exactly. Well, we were actually in Montana, and we were hunting, and there was it was kind of the end of the day, and it was getting cold, and the guy that we were with was like, "Don't move." We're like, "Okay." And we watched his dog for like 10 to 12 minutes, and finally, the dog wasn't moving. At the end of it, the dog barked, and this bird went, and he goes, "Always trust your dog," and that's why the dog's in the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
The origin story of Boomer.
There you go.
On
That's
PlayStation
Boomer.
Underground.
Yep.
You got more than you asked for, ladies and gentlemen. So tell me a little bit about this setting, because we're about to try and liberate a section of Hope County.
So this is a small community, Falls End, and what you basically got here is that the cultists come in and they've begun this thing called the Reaping, where what they believe is that the end of the world is coming, and that what they need to do is save as many souls as they can, whether they want to be saved or not. So they come in, they take over the town, they begin to take people, they kill some people, and what you have to do is basically liberate that town and take it back. And when you do, it begins to open up other parts of the world, and you can meet different characters, and you begin to discover the open world through these communities.
And I think you guys want to, we want to use Boomer, obviously, but also our friend playing here is going to take a slightly more long-range approach at the beginning of this playthrough. And that's one of the principles of Far Cry, right, is that you can play however you want to play, and there's a lot of
360 degrees, right? I mean, we learned that on some of the games that we built in the past of building a game and building an environment where you can attack it any way you want. In this case, you've got Boomer, who has the ability to actually tag all these characters and be able to help you figure out how you want to attack.
Okay, so now I believe that there's a bet in place where if any death happens on screen that is not the enemy,
yes, exactly,
we beat up the driver.
Yep. Max is going to be in trouble if he dies. We got to watch carefully. So he can attack it any way he wants. And what's cool, though, as you can see, is that what he's able to do now with Boomer is he's able to tag everybody. But what's really cool about Boomer is once you set him loose, he really does become a weapon unto himself, and you can basically kill these guys and begin to take the weapons from them. Let's see what Max does.
And this is the cult on the microphone,
that's
correct?
The father. What he does is he actually, he's just taking the guy down. So Boomer's kicked it off, and now he can send Boomer pretty much anywhere.
I think the stealth section is over now.
It's over. Boomer
We've moved into the new chapter.
Yep.
I like that the dog kind of decided when it was time for things to get.
Always trust your dog.
And there's some gun emplacements here to make matters more fun.
Yep. So Max is gonna tear it up. And you can see civilians are actually getting out. I mean, you rescued a couple people just by being able to push back on the cult. They're going to get in vehicles. They're going to act like normal people. They're going to get the hell out of there. And then Boomer's going to step in. Now reinforcements have showed up. So now you got to think about, all right, how do I spin that plate a little differently? How do I get it so all those guys that showed up in that cult vehicle, maybe you can send Boomer in and basically try and take some of those guys out.
If you had pulled your parachute in that very short jump, would anything bad happen? Okay. Maybe we'll try it next time. Oh, jeez. Perfect. Except for all the smoke.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Go,
Boomer!
Take him down.
Good old reliable Boomer.
Yep.
It seems like if you name your dog Boomer, you're kind of setting the animal up for a certain type of life.
Exactly.
Right? A life of action and mayhem.
Cool. Nice hit.
Which I would not wish upon any real animal.
Right.
I just want to put that on the record.
So there you go.
Liberated.
Yep. Basically
so
took over the
simple.
town. Yeah, it was super cool.
Just because we had Boomer, though. Anyone else, I don't know if it would have gone as smoothly.
Well, Boomer's super cool. I mean, we really wanted to be able to make it so that we had that experience that we had in Montana of you have a dog, it's your pet, you trust it, and it's a weapon. It's super cool.
And do you gain any access to something once you liberate this area?
For sure.
Another foothold here in the community?
Yeah, so this is a community. We actually built communities in the world so that what you do is you meet real people like Mary May, Pastor Jerome, Nick, and when you meet these sort of community leaders, they're going to tell you about things that are happening out in the world, and that helps you basically follow your nose out into the world and do what you want to do.
Awesome. Dan, this looks amazing.
Cool.
I love seeing it. Far Cry 5 coming to PS4 next year in February.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Right on. Thanks, man.
And
Appreciate
a little bit about why Montana.
Well, take a look at it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's we actually went there, and we just kind of discovered it and fell in love with it. The thing is that for us, we know that Far Cry has typically been about putting you on a plane 6,000 miles away and getting you somewhere exotic. But we said, what if we could do that kind of at home? What if we could let you explore the things that you already know and make that feel a little bit twisted and interesting? How do you do it? And in this case, what you're seeing is the cult, which we built, has actually taken over this small town of Falls End. You're looking at it, getting a sense of what you got to do. And what we wanted to do is give you the tools, the weapons, and the people to be able to build this resistance and then fight back.
Awesome. So I actually have community questions, Sid. Can you believe it? Dan, get ready.
All right, I'm ready.
You already know what these are. Oversoul Gaming wanted to know, this is the first Far Cry game I'm really interested in. Will it be newcomer friendly? Is it more focused on action or stealth?
It's a great question. I think that from the standpoint of it being newcomer friendly, for sure, right? We definitely want to be able to make it so that if you played a Far Cry before, you're going to be able to pick this up and go, okay, I get, oh, that's different. Wait a minute, this surprise. But if you've never played a Far Cry before, it's a great opportunity for you to pick it up and to be able to experience it for the first time, because we're building a story that you author, right? Gone are the days of the linear story. What we want to be able to make it is that you can go in any direction, meet any character, and be able to imbibe in the action bubbles that you want to do. So for sure, it's completely friendly.
Good. Well, he asked a good question then.
That's great.
Go ahead.
What's your next one?
Philippe wants to know, is the wingsuit back? Missed it a lot in Primal.
I don't even know if I'm allowed.
Primal is.
Wait, you're just like sew together a bunch of fur skins for like just.
It's not like we didn't talk about it, but the
okay, all right.
promotion was that I don't honestly know if I'm allowed to talk about the wingsuit. you know what? Fuck it. Yes, it's back.
Okay.
And what's cool about it is that we didn't just put in the wingsuit. We actually built a character that's this legendary stuntman that's from Montana, our character.
Awesome.
And when you do a lot of this stuff with the wingsuit and other things that you do that are stunts in the world, you're actually paying homage to him, and you can unlock stuff based off his personality from like the 1960s and the 1970s.
That was a PlayStation Live for me.
There you go.
Heard it here first.
There you go.
I'm sure Dan's colleagues are just over the moon.
Exclusive.
And you know, I know we're already, you know, a little bit through the demo here, Dan, but we didn't really talk about the father and the cult yet. But that's obviously a huge point in Far Cry 5. It's sort of the antagonist of the series.
Yeah, I think, you know, people know that we've worked really hard, and when you think about it from the standpoint of Far Cry 3 and Bob, started to cobble together this idea of the father. And then we started to think about, okay, who do we get to play this? And we got a lot of interesting options in terms of casting, and then we found a guy by the name of Greg Brick, who is unbelievable. And this guy is spooky. He's a fantastic actor. He came in, he's playing our father, and the thing about him is that when you meet him, he was the one actor that I met that I actually believed he could bring me into a cult. And that was all the difference. Plus, he doesn't blink, and it's really spooky.
Like at all? Like,
at all. It's weird, yeah.
That's another exclusive.
Yeah.
Wait, really though? Does he have like eye drops that he's
No. He's just
in?
intense. He's really, you know, he's really good at his craft, and he's intense. And when he brings the father, he brings it all.
That's amazing.
And you know, Dan, this is amazing because compared to the footage we were just seeing, our driver here is already, it's so much different from what we were seeing before.
Different game
different pathways through, different encounters.
That's what we wanted, and it wasn't just in terms of a single area. I mean, we want that for all the regions in the game, that you're going to meet different communities, you're going to have different guns for hire, different opportunities, that you can attack it. I mean, Far Cry has been about freedom, opportunity, and surprise, and that's what we bring.
And these partners, these co-op partners are...
Hey guys, this is Dan Hay. I'm the executive producer on Far Cry and the creative director on Far Cry 5. Today, we want to show you the world of Far Cry 5 and introduce you to the little town of Falls End, which has been overrun by a fanatic cult. In Far Cry 5, we want to give you an entire for-hire system. Guns for hire, fangs for hire, and friends for hire. Meet Boomer and Grace. Boomer's your dog, perfect to run out into the world and tag enemies. And Grace?
We got piggies.
She's the quiet sniper. The cult at Eden's Gate has basically taken over all of Falls End. And you and your guns for hire have to take it back.
Where do you want me?
We're gonna send Grace, our sharpshooter, to the water tower to get ourselves some cover fire.
Got it.
You see here are the last remnants of the resistance that tried to fight the cult.
I'm in position.
Out there in the bushes is Boomer. He's ready to go. And up above, Nick. Perfect death from above. Now, it's time to call on Grace to do what she does.
Boom, boom, motherfuckers.
putting the game in people's hands, seeing them play. How's it been for you?
It's been amazing. I mean, we've been sitting on this idea for almost 3 years, and we're back, back home thinking about it and saying, what are people going to say? How are they going to feel? What's going to happen when they actually take the controller and they get to use guns for hire? They get to go out into Hope, Montana. They get to experience all the stuff that we want to be able to put into the Anecdote Factory, and it's awesome to see. It's
very cool. I played it myself, and the demo starts with a choice of 3 of the guns for hire you can have. Talk us through each one.
So you've got 3 right from the beginning, and we've got Nick, and Nick is kind of like this death from above guns for hire, right? He's a crop duster by trade. He's got this plane that he's outfitted with the ability to strafe and to be able to drop bombs, and he's just a hell of a lot of fun to play with. Or you can choose Grace, and Grace is super tough, super accurate with the sniper rifle. She's great sort of from up above in the water tower. She's super quiet, so if you want to play stealth, that's how you do it. But once she unleashes, she brings the thunder. It's all kinds of trouble. And then finally you got Boomer, which is a fan favorite. Everybody's loving Boomer. It's your dog, your pet, your best friend. And what's cool about Boomer is if you want to be able to go out and play maybe with a little bit more of intention of being stealthy, you can go and actually mark everybody and then choose which one you want Boomer to take.
And there are definitely moments where I sort of was like, all right, there's 2 guys coming from around this truck. Boomer, you go there, I'll go here.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep, it works. I mean, that's the thing that we wanted. And the guns for hire are there for you to use the way you want and kind of attack the whole game from 360 degrees. Did you get in the Widowmaker? Did you get in the big truck?
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Oh, the Widowmaker. Yeah, with
the big truck with the eagle on the side and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So you hop inside, you get inside this big rig, and you go off. And if you got a guns for hire with you, they're either on the ground running with you, they're getting in a car themselves, they're beside you in the seat. And as you go out into the world, what we wanted was the feeling that the cult was putting pressure on the world, that you could see it, that there's going to be moments of cult interactions out in the world, and you can basically take that. If you want to go off-road, you can. If you want to be able to stay on the road, you can. If you want to go hunt off to the side, you can. And then when you finally get to Nick's, you realize here's another person like you who's being pushed back by the cult. He's being basically pushed at, and you can liberate him, make sure that he's safe, and then he turns to you and says, hey, listen, thanks, partner. Listen, my plane's not too far away. If you got a moment, go take the plane, do some damage with it, and try some death from above.
Let's get into some trouble.
Yeah, let's do it. If you do enough damage, if you push too hard, they call down the Chosen. And the Chosen are going to show up. They're going to be tough. They're going to be very tough to beat. They're going to give you a real challenge. And they're going to force you or push you or encourage you to try and play the game a different way.
It's a beautiful place to spend some time, get into some mayhem.
Yes.
Exciting to see Far Cry 5 here at E3, and it's coming out next year.
Yep.
What's the date?
February 27th, 2018. Be there.
We must atone!
Something is coming. You can feel it, can't you? You can feel that we are creeping towards the edge. And I know that you are out there. And I know that you are in pain. But my children, I'm here to tell you that suffering is a choice, and you can choose a better path. We want you, we accept you, and we will take you. Willingly or not. And some of you may fight, but in the end, you will thank us. I am your father, and you are my children.
Upon us! I shall lead you to the gate! For you are my children, and I am your father!
We kept this kind of longing to go to the States and bring Far Cry to the States, but it's not easy to do. The idea of going to a frontier in the States and bringing you to a place that you kind of know already. And just the concept that the thing that's in your backyard could be even more exotic than going 1,000 miles away. And that's why we brought it to the States.
I am your father, and you are my children.
We have to compete with ourselves. We built Voss, we built Pagan Min, we wanted the Father to be amazing. A cult leader who absolutely unequivocally believes that the end of times is coming and that he needs to save as many people as he can, whether they want to be saved or not, was, I think, the genesis for what we built. I think what was interesting about Montana when we went there is we met a lot of people that didn't want to be messed with. They wanted to be left alone. And it created this sense of a frontier and a remoteness that really resonated with us. And what was cool about the language of some of the things we're hearing was, you know, sort of, maybe don't trust the government and we can do it ourselves. What happens when somebody else shows up and says, yeah, I agree with you, don't trust the government and we can do it ourselves and I will provide. All of a sudden you create this petri dish, this sort of magnet for crazy, which is where Eden's Gate goes. And this time we thought it would be really interesting if we basically create a cast of characters. And you've got, you know, the family, you've got the entire group at Eden's Gate, you've got Joseph and Jacob, John and Faith, and they each have their own personalities, and they each even have their own agenda. But then at the same time, you have all the characters that you have out in the open world. So you've got Mary May and Nick, and you've got Pastor Jerome, and a host of other characters that you can meet and interact with. And when we see those characters come to life, and we see that they're not just AI waiting around to give you a mission, they have real personalities, they have opinions about stuff, the world feels real. You're gonna need to get help. And when we were in Montana, we met really interesting people that we imagined could really take care of themselves. I think that what's cool about that is that you go out into the world and you meet people for the first time. You don't know them. Maybe they don't trust you. But if you can strike up a deal with them, if you can have a conversation with them and make them part of what it is that you're building, they can join your resistance. And now you have a guns for hire that comes with you. So when I think of Far Cry, I think about the idea of kind of sitting at a bar, having a scotch, and somebody comes up behind me and starts to talk about an urban legend that happened kind of to them, and they're telling the story of survival in a frontier, and it's twisted, it's unique. That's what makes a Far Cry story. And if I can imagine myself at that bar, and I can hear that story and go, okay, we could build that, we can make that, that's a Far Cry. And I do that for all the projects that we work on. It's like, could that be real? And in this case, I think that bar is actually in Montana.
Woe to the man who leads my flock astray, says the Lord. We were given so much. This land, this life, our freedom. What's left of it now? Our people felt abandoned, grew weary. They needed our help. And we didn't listen. But he did. Told them exactly what they wanted to hear. But those falsehoods, lies, his poison, it's driven them from pasture, from the righteous path. Woe to the man who leads my flock astray. For if I am not their shepherd, then I must be the wolf.
She's a beaut, ain't she? All this time, she ain't never let me down. I just hope she's around when he's old enough to fly. Ooh, my boy. I mean, I hope it's a boy. I just want him to fly her like I do. Not like my dad or my grandpa. They flew in the war, so I didn't have to. But now, I don't know if he'll ever have the chance. Not with these around here. People are scared, man. And I may never have gone to war. If them Peggies come after my family, sure as hell we'll give them one.
grew up here, you know. Had my first kiss out back with some dumb cowboy. Almost got caught by my dad. He loved this place. It wasn't all easy. But he always made sure that here, you could speak your mind. And then they showed up. We're here to help, they said. He believed them. And then they took my mom, my brother. And Dad was never the same. Now what? You wanna take this place too? No. This place is ours.